We're so excited and looking adorable, according to Alison Armstrong, who is with us here today. We could not be more thrilled. She is one of our sheroes and just a queen in this whole industry of helping men and women really deeply understand each other, which is a huge proponent to having amazing, mind-blowing sex. So welcome to Sex Reimagined. I'm Dr. Willow Brown. I'm here with Leah Piper. We are the co-hosts of Sex Reimagined. We're so thrilled that you're here. And you are going to just love our interview today with Alison Armstrong.
So please tune in, turn on, and fall in love with Alison Armstrong.
Welcome to the Sex Reimagined podcast, where sex is shame-free and pleasure-forward. Let's get into the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back.
This is our third interview with you, Alison.
Third. How long ago was the last one?
Probably at the very beginning.
2023.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Lots to catch up on.
Yeah, lots to catch up on. We're really excited about the new things that you've been researching. Everything having to do with men, from what I hear. So where do you want to jump in regards to partnership, relationship, communication, but most importantly, sex?
Oh, boy. So I know that you know that I started in 1991 when I found out I was bringing out the worst of men. And this question popped into my head. What if men are responding to women? And there are a few areas in which men are responding more to women than in sex. And if they're not responding to her, she may not be a trusted source of information. Yes. So I want to put a pin in that one.
Okay.
So come back to that one. And I'm 65 now. So when I met Dan on the phone almost 6 years ago, the first thing I told him was that my late husband is still very much involved in my life and probably picked him. So that was one of those, if you're going to run now statements. Mm-hmm. And then we went from that topic, which he did not run at all. He leaned into it. It was beautiful. And we went from that topic to that what I've really been looking for is a lover. And is sex still part of how you envision your life right now? And I asked that because I had encountered through my work with other people and with men that there are a lot of men who sign off of sex as they get older. And they largely sign off of it because they've had one or more incidences of erectile dysfunction. And the failure to be able to perform is so brutal to them that they just, let's just snuggle.
Yeah. They're like, I don't want to go there.
They don't want to go anywhere that they have failed deeply. They never want to go there. So if they've been divorced, they may never want to marry again. They don't want to be hurt that badly. If they failed, I know a man who was just brutally criticized about how he was a father by his not so healthy wife. And so when he met the love of his life, it was no children. We will have no children. Like he was just sure he was a terrible father and wouldn't do it again. Yeah. So it's wherever, like, and even like it will last. Like, you know, I couldn't confront being a father, so I abandoned my children and deeply ashamed of that. But he's better off without me, right? It doesn't matter if I go to his high school reunion, his high school, graduation. I should just stay away. He's better off without me. And that's something that men pay attention to so much is who they want to be with is someone who they know that person is better off with them. And the person knows they're better off with them. And they need that feedback. And yeah.
So
they need us to keep telling them, I am so lucky to be with you. I'm so much. Can I tell you the ways I'm better? My life is better off because I'm with you. They need to hear it, because unbeknownst to women, because they do it in silence, like most parts, and it's not a misbehavior, it's how they're put together, is they hold themselves to Superman, even godlike standards.
Right.
Like they have this thing that they'll be deeply ashamed about. I should have been there. I should have been there. That's called omnipresence. Or my body was there, but I wasn't really there for her during that time. I checked out. I should have been there. And they know this about themselves. And they don't want to feel like that again. They never want to hurt us. We have to attack them brutally before they actually have a desire to hurt us. So
do you think for them it's a feeling of emasculation? Like when they feel like they're in that failure state and they don't want to try again? Does it feel like, because I will feel emasculated?
It's worse than emasculation.
Mm.
Because emasculation is a hit on the masculine survival instincts and energy. One man said it this way, because I was talking about how afraid women were to tell men what they need because they don't want to hurt their feelings. And his name is Tomer, and he said, I am not emasculated if my feelings are hurt. Emasculation is not hurt feelings. Emasculation is diminishing my ability to produce results. Yes. So not providing enough information and feedback to men in bed, before and after bed, it's one of the biggest ways we emasculate men, which is we withhold quality, actionable information. We withhold it, or we give it to them with horrible timing. We give it to them when they're focused on something else and they can't
receive it.
Or we're not a trusted source because we say something will work and then they try it and it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because, and this is something, if you wanted to have fantastic sex, which when I texted Dave going on interview, Sex Reimagined, thank you so much for helping me with that. With these flame emojis, right? And because I literally was in love with Greg. I'm still in love with Greg. I was in love with him up to the last moment of his life. And I'm still in love with him. And he's still so much a part of my life, especially since our grandson is crazy like him. Like, just like, I can tell they've been hanging out. He was 1 year old when he recognized Greg's picture. Like, it's like, okay. They've been anyway, that's a whole other thing about Greg's ability to alter his vibration and visit Earth, which is wonderful. But I didn't know how well we didn't communicate until I met Dan. And Dan has this superpower of acceptance. Yeah, acceptance. It's crazy cool acceptance. And
like powerful medicine.
Yeah, like early on, being naked, in the early part of being naked, I just confessed, which I recommend. Whatever you're self-conscious about, just confess. And I said, I'm kind of self-conscious because I feel chubby right now. And he said, you're not chubby. And then he went, oh, you're a little bit chubby, but it's all good. I looked at him. He goes, I remember truth is your love language. I never felt so good about being chubby that I never. And another time I was like self-conscious about the squishy parts. He's like, we all have squishy parts. And everything about being human including sexuality, he's just, it's all good. And so on the other end of it, because I was committed to this, did we talk on the phone? Yeah, we had talked on the phone, I think, once. And I sent him Jaya Love's link, the erotic blueprints. And I sent him another one to Dr. Michael Bruce's work, the Power of When quiz. Because these are two things that Greg, well, we never found the erotic blueprints, but the Power of When changed our lives. But it was like a year before Greg died. So and both the Power of When, which is about when your body releases the hormones that determine things like sex drive. So why I would be wanting sex with Greg at 8 p.m. while he wanted sex with me at 6 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus, right? No, it's biological. It's genetically determined when those hormones fire off. So I sent Dad both those links. And I was just going to find out. I'd heard he was into personal growth. Really? Only one kind? What kind? Is he open? And within like 2 hours, he sent me the results of the Dr. Michael Bruce quiz, which has saved our lives. He's a bear. And if you don't know about chronotypes, find out about chronotypes. He's a bear. I'm a dolphin. I wake up full in the morning. I work, having all these things to say. And before 9:30, no questions. Right?
No.
So
I'm not available yet.
Yeah, really between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. are legit social sexual hours for him. And and then the erotic blueprints, he sent me back the results.
What is he?
He's perfect.
He's perfect. All of them.
Private. That's private.
Yeah. Well, this is Sex Reimagined, where we are private.
But I will tell you, when I saw the results, my first reaction was, wow, you're a playground.
Oh, okay. That gives us some insight.
Yeah, that gives some insight.
Yes. And then it's the first, we got together on Skype, I think. It was the first time I saw him, but I couldn't really see him. It was very dark. I didn't know what he looked like till I met him at the car dealership. I asked him, and this is before we were met in person, because I knew the blueprints, and what I hate about the erotic blueprints, even though it works, is that you have to say all yes or all no to these categorical lists of things, of turn-ons and turn-offs. And the whole time I did it, I was pissed. This is not precise enough for me. I would have liked to have a list and check all of them, right? Yeah. And so I asked him questions having to do with his blueprint, remembering some of the questions that would have gotten some of the things, and that I was not a yes to everything. But it was awesome because it began this. So the word is, you can use two different words. One is try and one is reach. And they're very close together. So this is why it matters to watch when you're talking to a man. Does he lean in? Like physically, his body's literally muscle testing in front of you.
Yeah.
Is he leaning in? If you say something like, it seems like you don't like me very much. If he's like, huh, right? Or stony face, you're right. If he leans it, what makes it seem that way? Right? So seems like, instead of accusing them of something or trying to tell them what's true for them, it seems like it leans it, they'll lean into it. And so you can say, it seems like you're hesitant to do the thing that I asked you to do in bed. Well, I am. I didn't work. Right? So this seems like carries with it the willingness to be wrong, the desire for verification and clarification. And to go back to what I was originally saying, not being a trusted source, is we literally have to play the warmer, colder, hot game. Did you grow up with the warmer, colder, hot game? Not everybody.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
we did.
Yes.
We're in that generation.
Yes. So I think it's still done. I think it's lasting.
Yeah.
It's
Hotter, no, cold.
Just
Something.
not everybody in the UK, as far as I know, or not everybody everywhere. So
Yeah.
So that often our reaction to men in bed is, I told him what I wanted, and he's still clueless, right? He's just bumbling around. He's clueless. We'll take it literally. Clueless. Needs more clues. And if you demonstrate you're a trusted source of information, then you're a person to ask directions from. Is this it? A little to the left. And then they can tell by your authentic sounds. Or the hand clasped over your mouth, because this is not an appropriate place to make that sound. So they want to hit the bullseye. They so badly
they
want to hit the bullseye. They do. And so they need assistance. And again, fairly early on, let's call it the first 3 months, Dan said, "What's that like when I do that to you?" And I thought about it, and I wanted to soften it. I wanted
how
to,
do I say this?
Neutralizing it. And then I nope, we tell the truth around here. I said, annoying? Well, then I better stop. Yeah, he didn't take a hit. And so this is why, like, the shame, why shame is worse than emasculation is because emasculation just diminishes a person's ability to produce results. And it happens to us too. So if you think of masculine as all about results, feminine all about space, and we're like our bodies, an unoccupied space, and compassion and connectivity. And so we're trying to protect the connection with them. We don't want them to disconnect from us. So we try to soften the information that would allow them to be more productive. And they are focused on being productive, and they connect through the productivity. They're connecting through it working, not through it not working. And I don't know what to do. I give up.
Okay. It's yes, mostly.
Okay, go ahead. There's more, but
I mean, I hear you saying a lot of things. Like, one is tell men the truth, give him clues, give him information, because he's dedicated to creating a result that makes you happy, that gives you fulfillment, that gives you pleasure, because he wants to win and he wants you to win. But also don't soften it. Tell it like it is, which could get some women, I would think, in trouble, because they do get their feelings hurt. They do feel criticized. They do feel shame. So how do we do this well?
I can't tell you, but it's attitude.
Okay.
And most women's attitude is in the domain of misbehaving. You're not doing what I told you to do on purpose because you're stubborn or dense or don't care about me, right? I shouldn't have to tell you. You ought to know this. You're a grown ass man, and this is embarrassing and uncomfortable to me, and I shouldn't have to tell you this.
Right.
Like, you should have read a book by now. Read She Comes First, by golly.
Yeah.
This, I feel like this comes out in tone a lot. The attitude comes out in tone a lot. In fact, I was just walking in the neighborhood this morning, and I heard a man and a woman talking, and the tone coming from her was he was just dense in her mind. You know, that's what was going on, and it's and the poor guy was trying to communicate. You know, so it's just like, I think as women, we also, like you've spoken about, Alison, as women, we get really full in ourselves, or we haven't taken out the trash, we haven't emptied ourselves. So we don't really quite have the capacity to like take a deep breath, get into a place of curiosity with them, and then like communicate from that place of a different attitude.
Yeah. And I mean, if for that I made it a long time ago after an interview with Ariel Ford. It's called Coughing Up the Truth. And it's in 3 parts. How do you prepare yourself to cough up the truth? So the degree of clarity you need to have, and then what capacities do you need to be embodying? Don't cough up the truth angry or impatient. It will always go badly. And so how do you prepare yourself for coughing up the truth? And then it's called cough it up, blow it up, clean it up. And we try to cough up the truth without blowing anything up. So in our minds, we've already scripted them, and we're trying to find our script that will get their script. And we're all wound up energetically, and they can tell something's wrong. And then that they should already know, the expectation that they already know, or they're purposely withholding this or just doing what they're selfish. They don't do that because they don't like it. They don't really care that much about what they like if it gives you pleasure.
Right.
They care about what you like, and that's who you want to be in bed with. And on top of the things that you said, Leah, about pleasure and pleasing you, but they also want to give you what you need. And if you think of women and sex, there's what we need, and that has to happen before we can actually receive pleasure, receive love, receive feeling beautiful and sensuous and taken care of. There's things that we need. And so there's so much more we have to say than we want to, because we feel really vulnerable. And so on top of everything else, we're pissed that we have to say something. And so the tone, I've had people like mock, what I'm teaching, and they'll work on the tone, and they'll have this really nice tone, and underneath it is a dagger. Underneath it is a fist just waiting to fire off. And they're like 1,000 times more sensitive than we think they are.
Yeah.
They are highly perceptive. They're highly empathetic. Whether they know it or not, they are. And we don't treat them gently like that. And so the clues, and the trick is with warmer, colder, and hot, is can you give warm and cold clues with an equal lack of emotion, an equal lack of condemnation? No condemnation. Those are just cold and warm clues. And because of how Dan was being, and I was being very brave, bringing up these questions ahead of time, and then I was being very brave after. I forget how many times we'd had sex by then, when I got really brave and knew he's such an athlete. And I have studied men through sports so much, and watching sports with him is awesome. And I said, how there's the Aftergame show, like the highlights, and he's like, yeah. I said, could we do that? And it was Aftergame in that moment.
Yeah.
Could we do that? He's like, sure. What are the highlights? And so I got to tell him. I got to tell him in detail. Right? And normally they don't care that much about detail, but in these incidences, they care about detail. When you do that,
they want to know how to do better.
This like that, and that felt like that, and that made me that, and oh my God, and then when they're full of warm clues, then like, is there anything I should do better? Is there anything I shouldn't do? Well, yeah. It just has to do with timing. every part of my body needs foreplay.
Uh-huh.
Approach slowly from the outside in.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Shall I try right now?
Yeah, you can practice. Let's try my feet and my fingers.
Exactly. Like, don't go straight for. Like, go straight for the nipple. Ow!
Right.
Go straight for the clit. Ah! I know. Everything's got to be warmed up. And I just know that for me. And plenty of women, and even they are that way. They, oh my gosh. So,
well, I want to just pause here because I think this is really important feedback for listeners is when you have had an intimate experience, a part of that pillow talk afterward, a part of that, you know, whether that's cuddle time or aftercare, depending on the kind of sex you're having and the kind of language you use, be able to start asking questions and let's help each other learn how to find the words that convey what was a delight and what are the little adjustments so that you are both showing up in curiosity to learn how to be each other's great lovers. I think some people have a hard time even coughing up. I like the term you use, coughing up. What, like describing with language, the parts that opened them. You know, it's like some people are just so shy to even say the word nipple, to even talk about their clitoris, to even say blowjob. I mean, it's like we all gets caught in their throat. And for us all to be more brave in describing and talking more openly about these details having to do with sex and lovemaking, it's the only way we're going to get better.
And it's actually so hot when you talk about it. And the vulnerability piece of it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just have to caution though, because you Leah, you said questions, asking questions. Yes. And
where do we get in trouble with that?
What we're looking for in the questions, and okay. So women have favorite questions. And I teach men to find out the favorite questions of your wife, your daughters, the people you work with, the women you work with. What are their favorite questions? Because if you ask a woman one of her favorite questions, which I have never, ever in the hundreds of women I've checked in with, how are you is not a favorite question. How are you is a request for a report. And this was one of the things that showed up in what's happening. I'm doing research for the sequel to the Queen's Code.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I didn't think I had a lot of research to do. And I found out instead I missed the biggest difference between men and women. In all these years, it's 1991, I missed the biggest difference between men and women.
Which is what?
Which is, you got to tell us now.
I promise I will tell you. But first, I asked, after teaching men about women's favorite questions, I'm like, so men, what are your favorite questions? And this was our Understanding Women workshop, co-ed. And the men, I had to learn, first of all, that when men are going like this, it doesn't mean they're blocking the communication.
So everyone, Alison is crossing her arms and
leaning back
their body and
it's just across their chest. Yeah. So their shoulders are the heaviest part of their body. They cross their arms, so their diaphragm and sometimes their belly is holding up their shoulders.
Oh, interesting.
It's for comfort.
It's comfort.
So, and I thought they were closed down until they're like, I'm like, are you disagreeing with me? Is none of this landing? You have your arms crossed. It's just comfortable.
It's comfortable.
It's just comfortable. Yeah. So are interpreting it as they're closing off. No, it's not. It's off in a way that they can now pay attention because they're comfortable. And so I asked them, I'm like, okay, so let's just do a survey. What are your favorite questions? And no hands went up. And I'm waiting because, they commit to the question and then they answer the question. It had been long enough for them to commit to answering the question of what's your favorite question. No hands went up. And I'm looking at these, I'm like, so what's going on? And this one man just shook his head. He said, no questions.
That's a favorite question. No question.
No question. I said, no questions? Why no questions? And another man called that, they don't want any questions. This is why I interrupted Leah. This is why I'm like, wait a second. And I said, why, what is it about questions? And another man shouted out, I don't want to be interrogated.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And then I said, how many questions does it take to make an interrogation? One man with his arms crossed went like this.
God damn it.
One question.
That's why we need girlfriends.
I have a solution for this.
Okay, what is
God, because I am like, oh my God. That just makes me feel like I'm going to be mute.
I feel like I am a guy sometimes because I get annoyed with all the questions too.
Yes. So here's the trick, Leah. Don't ask any questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying we can go into the playground, but only if we go on the swings. You want to play? We can communicate. My questions. You're going to answer my questions. Let's connect. Answer my questions. Because I have all these things in my mind that are really bugging me. So now's the time you're going to answer my questions. It's my turn.
Interesting.
Yeah. Instead, what if you opened a gate and invited them? You want to come into the playground?
Mm-hmm.
And they could go anywhere. They could go on the monkey bars. They could go on the slide. They could play in the sandbox. They could do anything they wanted. And so instead of a question, it could be, can I tell you my favorite parts?
Mm-hmm. That's no question. But okay.
But it's a permission question.
Mm.
It's not a question of them. It's a permission question. Could I tell you some of my favorite parts? If he doesn't answer, he might be asleep because sex spends testosterone and they've got to recoup the testosterone by resting. So that's why they fall asleep. You could just put your arm around me before you pass out. Because that was really fun. I'll tell you more about, we'll have the after game later. But I mean, favorite parts, or can I tell you the thing you did to me that was amazing?
Do you have to even ask, or can you just talk about it? Can you just go, can I tell you what let me tell you my favorite part, where it's, you have to ask if they're up for hearing it. Can't just launch.
Launching is not respectful.
Really? Even with great enthusiasm? Let me tell you what I loved. God, that was so hot. My favorite part was
you're
all lit up.
I'm going to ask you to try.
As long as you're reading the moment.
Yeah, but I'm just going to ask you to try because while most women are attempting to survive through connecting all the time, most men, and this lasts until about 60 years old, maybe someone might be in their 50s, they're surviving through productivity. So the most important thing to them is respect. Because if they're not respected, their productivity it's not just cut a little bit. It's like, it's minimized.
So asking permission conveys respect.
Yeah. As does, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt is a validation that what he's doing is legit. And mostly women think what men are doing is not legitimate. So we feel like we have the right to interrupt. Plus our diffuse awareness is interrupting us constantly. So we don't know the sense of peace that their focus gives them. Like if you watch what he's doing, assuming he's in a meditation of that.
Okay.
Like they're always in this meditation of that. And so ways to convey respect, and in our Understanding Men program, we have a whole flip chart of showing respect, all the ways to show respect, and asking for a time to talk. When would be a good time for you? That's caring about what's good for them instead of I need to talk now and I don't care if it's good for you or not. So this is all in the domain of partnering, which they, as independent as they're determined to prove they are, as are we, they crave partnership. They're actually, impregnation is a team sport between the different sperm. And if you want, sperm wars, classic sperm wars, right? And the blockers and the killers and the runners. And interesting that the female sperm are blockers trying to get through, because the assumption is there's another man's sperm in there, right?
Right.
But that's why they're slow, just like the blockers are on the football field. So it helps if we just assume that they're almost nothing is going to be like what we would do naturally. We would it would be so much better. And so an invite into the playground would be, even, could I tell you some of the favorite things you did? Sure.
Yeah.
And then would you like to tell me anything that was good for you so I can do it again and maybe even do it better? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, a woman who's, wow, she's asking for feedback, but be kind, or like Dan wanted me to try something that I'm like, oh, I just told him only if you promise to coach me gently. And he did, and I did. But all these ways of reaching towards each other gently, with respect, no entitlement, no demand, it'll keep the connection, it'll keep the snuggle in it. And then it becomes delicious and erotic and titillating for next time. And they're so sensitive, and they're sensitive to being respected. They're sensitive to being demanded from. It's why they want sex to be spontaneous, because they want to initiate it when they know they're horny and they think they can count on an erection.
Yeah.
And and as men get older and their testosterone levels drop off, they're not stimulated by a memory with a boner. They're not as easily stimulated. Mostly, more and more, they will need something physical. They'll literally need to be handled.
Yeah.
If we're used to from our youth that they walk in with a stiffy, then we think them not, oh, he doesn't want me, he's not attracted to me, he's not excited by this. It just needs to be more physical. And this was one of the things that, and I'm going to go to that biggest thing I learned, because it has to do with men's health. And it's even bigger than men's health. But men's health and their hormones, how much rest they're getting, how much stress they're under, has everything to do with erections. And Dan had a stent put in his heart. And I'm reading from cover to cover all the instructions about life after cardiovascular surgery. And the warning was that the medication that he'd have to be on for a year often produced erectile dysfunction. And to see if you can be patient and compassionate. And my reaction to it was actually to articulate what we'd already been doing, which I call it I call it the EP. It's the Erection Partnership.
Okay.
And
like
and
that.
what's so great about it is you could also call it the VP, because it's like, wait, excitement, desire and excitement, and heightening that. This is a team sport. This is a partnership. So I'm not entirely responsible for getting wet, and you're not entirely responsible for getting hard. So what can I do for you? What can I do for me to get us to this place where, now, how do we do that? And with the acceptance of they're not misbehaving by not knowing what to do, by not knowing, they don't know about what's happening with our lubrication as we're getting older, menopause, postmenopause. They don't know. They can think we're not really into it.
Right.
We don't really want to do it because they don't know this stuff. And so if we can be in partnership and ongoingly, right? It's not just to get it that way. It's if, like we teach in Understanding Women, I imitate men. You can see me air hump on stage. If you watch Understanding Women on our website, not the Audible version. I don't even talk about sex in the old Audible Understanding Women, which we're going to take down. But erections depend on stimulus for them, and that's why they keep changing up, so that they can keep the erection. And which is also why we have to tell them that's exactly it. Do not stop for anything. And they think staying hard is the most important thing. No, staying right there is more important than you staying as hard as you can be.
Right.
Soft on that spot will do more good than hard at another one.
Yeah.
Really? They're getting so excited because they have all these myths. There's so many myths about sex, like we do. So, so it's the more inviting we can be, the more respectful we can be, the more tender we can be, and the more truthful we can be, and then follow up. We've got to follow up. Hey, you remember that thing I told you in the after show? Could we do that now? You want that now? Yeah, I especially like that when you do that when you're lying on your left side.
This whole asking them, sort of setting it up with the question, like, oh, can I tell you what I really liked? I feel like this is just so important for everyone, for all genders, because it sets the tone for, like, I'm about to share something that might be hard for me to put words to. It might be vulnerable. I might not be someone who talks about sex very freely and openly. And so it really, like, sets everyone up for success when you say, hey, can I tell you what I really enjoyed? Or even, hey, can I tell you what I want to do to you? And that can, like, set up for future stuff. I mean, that's been one of the hottest questions I've been asked by, a lover. And it's fun. It starts to get the mind going. It starts to get the body going, and opens up so much more possibility when we kind of preempt. Also, it provides us enough time and space to, like, okay, now I've got the mic. I'm sharing something here. And if I need to pause in between words to think about what I want to say next, then I've got that. It's like you're setting up a little container for yourself to share.
Yes, you're right. And you may have to be more specific. This is hard for me, so please let me get all the way to the end of what I have to say before you interject or ask me anything, because their brains naturally go to what's the point, and it seemed like this is hard for me. What's the problem?
Right.
I don't know what the problem is. So it's there isn't any problem. Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why I scream so loud? Sure. Okay, this is hard for me to be this specific. So can you wait all the way to the end, and could I actually show you what you did that was so good?
Yeah.
Sure. What part of me do you need? So and so it's okay. Are you ready for the biggest thing?
We're ready. We're on the edge of our seat.
And this has
Good.
everything to do with sex and communicating about sex.
Great. Perfect.
All right. It's not quite a year since I learned this. It dropped down in my head, just like what if men are responding to women? Years later, what if no one's misbehaving? What if there's a good reason for that? What if no one's misbehaving, including you? Self-acceptance, hugely sexy. And I had started downloading, the Queen's Code is channeled, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
As Keys of the Kingdom. So I started downloading the King's Code 2 years ago and was getting like trailers, and it had me in tears. I was just tears streaming down my face. It's so beautiful and whoa. And then it took a while to set aside time. So
Wow.
and then I was in the kitchen. I was walking to the sink, and this thing dropped in my head. The ever presence of death.
That's the difference between men and women.
What? Well, the difference, Leah, and I've now talked to so many men about this. Not a single denial, not a single detect. They just nod. It took me 3 months to say it to Dan. I was so worried. I talked to so many men, but I was afraid to talk to him. And I finally brought it up to him. He said, "Yeah, it's sitting right here."
Death. Oh, okay.
Death, the ever presence of death. And so I would say it. They'd go, yeah, a young man in Romania says, "Yeah, I fall asleep at night, often thinking I could have died today, or I might die tomorrow." And they just nod. But as I started inquiring into it, what if there's a good reason for that? And what does it connect to? And it's literally been connecting to everything I learned about men in the previous 35 years, and including who we are for them. And so I started getting to contrast it, and they nod, they add on. We are women. We embody the ever presence of life. They live with the ever presence of death. It's right there. Can I say that word?
Yeah.
So when I first discovered this, I was talking to a man that I met at the big tent, and an amazing mentor in many ways. And I was telling him about this, and he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, it makes perfect sense. The ever presence of death, why not eat it, drink it, and fuck it? Why not? I could be dead tomorrow. I could be dead immediately afterwards." Right? Why not? And so all this struggle I'd been having with Dan, and I had with my husband about his physical health and contributing to illness, contributing to a lack of energy, contributing to feeling bad, doing things that his body clearly objected to. And I ended up, I had to be with it for like 4 months before it finally connected. All these men validating it. Why this man said, I asked a panel of men, I put the question in, what makes a woman worth dying for? And the man who elected to answer that question, and the other men nodded when he answered it, he said, a better question is what makes a woman worth living for? What makes a woman worth living for?
Mm.
And I didn't understand it.
Mm.
But dying is simple. Dying is easy. Death is right here. It could happen any minute. They don't want to die. Most of them are
Right.
afraid to die. The biggest thing they're afraid of is dying for no good reason. They are totally up for dying for a good reason.
Mm.
It'll even, and I said this to some men and they all nodded. They will even choose to die to protect the life of another man that he thinks the people that are important to him will be better off. They'll be better off in his care than in their care. He's the one that'll get him out of this mess. So I'm going to protect him.
So does this point back to honor being like one of the sort
Absolutely.
of North Stars for men? Yeah.
Yeah. And honor, one of the biggest things that men don't know is that shame, which they experience when, according to their very high standards, they have failed. And this is why it's worse than emasculation, Willow, because, and it was my husband who taught me this. He said, the worst thing about shame is it separates you from your spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
This is why and it even occurs. This is one of the few feelings that men and women have in the same place. And it's in the chakra of self. We disconnect from ourselves, our true selves. This is why it's way worse than emasculation. Emasculation just affects productivity. Shame affects their whole sense of worth as a human being. And men think that the feeling of shame means they're dishonorable. And so they've been more ashamed to be dishonorable, which for them, the definition is to do the right thing no matter how you feel. No matter how you feel. Yeah.
Do the right thing.
She's smelly. She's smelly, but it's not my preference, but it's what she really needs right now. I'm going down. And I know that, like, you know, I know a man who said, all my women, I tell them not to bathe for 4 days before we're going to be together.
Some men like it right.
Ripe yoni. But so I was going to bring it back. This even applies to sex. Doing the right thing in bed for a man is to make her come.
Right.
We don't know. And I act this all out in understanding women for the men. They need to know it so badly. How first, my friend Leslie was the one who said it. For many a time, trying to have an orgasm is like trying to catch fish with your bare hands.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be hard work. And on the Dennis Prager show, he said, "What are we talking about today, Alison? I want to talk about how husbands could have more sex if wives could have fewer orgasms."
Right.
You said that wrong. You meant, and you know, he said it the way he thought it should go. I said, no, I didn't. And let's unpack this. She's had a long day, and you're present to sex, and you know you want to do it, and all the value of sex is right there for you. So you know, come up behind her and put your arms around her and say in her ear, "Let's do it." Thinking that's going to have it be completely present to her, when instead, if she hasn't built enough oxytocin, she can't have an orgasm in the first place. She has no desire to do it. And in fact, she has a sense of dread about having sex because even unconsciously, she knows that she doesn't have enough oxytocin, and the sex will spend oxytocin, and she will end up feeling less close to you, less bonding to you, and depressed. That the sex will leave her depressed. And so it's like saying, you know, honey, you've done so many great things today for me. I just have one more thing to do. And it's not only that I need a release of sex, I'm going to keep you awake until you have one too, because I, like all human beings, am projecting my needs onto you. I'm deciding and providing without verifying. And that's what this big section about orgasms. I am pro-choice orgasm. We should get high. So even ask you, honey, do you need an orgasm? Do you want an orgasm? Nah, let's just do you. That's satisfying for me at this time of night. Let's just do you. So even telling them things like free parking or, no good wood should go to waste. If I'm awake, just slip it in if I'm wet enough, or use some spit and slip it in. It's not a bad way to wake up. Just make sure it's after whatever the number is. 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Anyhow, it's the ever presence of death is what has men not think about their health long term. Like a month or 2 or 3 months out, let alone years out, and unless they need their bodies to fulfill a purpose that is driving their life.
I was going to say, but there's a lot of men who are thinking long term about their health. But yeah, they are using their body
they're using their body. They have a reason to be alive, to stay alive, and to stay healthy.
Even having children, right? That's one reason.
Having children, seeing the children. I got to watch it with my dad. He should have died much younger, but he kept picking who he wanted to see graduate from high school. And my son was the first grandchild for my dad, but my brother didn't have any sons. And so when my brother's son was born, his 5th kid, that was my dad's new goal. I want to see Isaiah graduate from high school. I'm like, that's cool, Dad. I didn't remind him the kids were homeschooled and there would be no graduation ceremony. That didn't really seem important. And but yes, if they've got to have they've got to have a reason to live for, because the purpose gives them focus. And literally when they focus, it screens out everything irrelevant, including death.
Well, that's interesting statistically, because they say men who are married live longer. They say men with daughters live 18 months longer for each daughter that they have.
That's interesting.
Whereas women live longer not being married.
Well, yeah, and dads will live longer until she has a good man to take care of her. That's what he's looking for. So who's going to take care of her? And that's why they're so critical of the men that we may bring to them, because they're looking for replacements in being accountable for your safety, for your well-being, for you having what you need, for you being happy. They're looking for a replacement for that. Makes sense.
That man who said a better question is what to live for.
What makes a woman worth living for? Yep.
Worth living for. Did you get the answer to that question? Did they comment on that?
No, nobody answered his question. They just nodded that was a better question.
Okay.
A better question. And here's the thing. And this was the first thing that came about the King's Code. And what they showed me was, amongst other things, they showed me that men, consciously or unconsciously, are filling a team. And and as a man pointed out to me, Tom Brady was not looking for another Tom Brady to be on the team. So men are literally hunting for strength, although they'll almost never talk about it because instinct has them never reveal anything that can be used against them. They'll never talk about their weaknesses. They're acutely aware of their weaknesses. They don't need us or like us to point them out to them. And
They don't need us or like us to point them out to them, ladies. Remember that.
They don't need us.
They don't need
you
it.
know, let me tell you what's wrong with you. Eric, you're shitty at that. And the problem is that because they're looking to have on their team, including a wife, for example, a romantic partner, and people they work with, people of any gender, they're looking for the people whose strength is in the area of their weakness, that their strength looks like it will fill in for their weakness. And like, if you know football, Jerry Rice, and they was a game changer. Jerry Rice changed Tom Brady's game. They're looking for the person that's going to literally expand their possibilities in life because they have complementary strengths. So they are looking for a partner, someone they admire, that they also believe they can attract and keep. And how you keep is you can give her what she needs and you can make her happy. So they're looking for evidence that they can give her what she needs. They're listening very keenly for what she needs. And they're projecting onto her what she needs also. And they're paying attention to the only thing they want from her. Does this person that I admire and respect so much and know I'd be better off with admire and respect me for my strengths and know that she'll be better off with me? Is she going to be better off with me? And part of them being honorable, Willow, doing the right thing no matter how they feel, is if they don't think she's going to be better off with him, it doesn't matter how much he admires her, how much he respects her, how much he loves her, how much he's in love with her, how hot they are in bed together, it would be dishonorable to ask her to commit to me. When
Probably a lot of women and a lot of heartbreak, though.
Yes, because what happens is men don't know. Well, they're driven by this impossible standard of being a man. They don't know that we're driven by an
connection,
even more impossible standard as a woman.
Yeah,
like they're striving to be good and to be the best man they can. We're striving to be perfect, and in the failure of being perfect, to be seen as perfect. Yeah. So
that's a lot of pressure.
when we assume and being perfect is being great at everything. Being great at everything. You find a weakness,
it's
you
not
fix
needing
it.
anything. Yeah.
Right. You find a weakness and you fix it. So they're attracted to us. We're attracted to them. And then I finally figured out the way to say it. We don't want to be responsible for our strengths being our part. We want them to get good at what we're good at, so we don't always have to do it. We don't want to bring our game. We don't want to have to be counted on to bring our game. And since we're striving to be everything, including everything they are, we think they should be striving to be everything we are. And they're like, no, I'm not good at that. Well, why aren't you trying harder? Well, that's your area. I'm not going to run down the field and catch the ball. My job's to throw it. But we don't get it. So now we're critical of them for the things they admire us for.
Yeah. Oh, so tragic.
And it's a death knell. It's so, it crushes them. And yeah, like they see.
So what's one?
They see this as perfect.
Right.
This is where they were team, complementary strengths.
Yeah, make me a better player by staying the good player that you are.
We're both better off, and they're checking to see what can I count on you for. And if they find out they can count on you for honest feedback that consistently improves the quality of sex, well, then they just get more and more open to it.
Yeah, like lean in.
Lean into it. And like, I'm not exaggerating because I'm going to say within a month, but it was actually 3 weeks. I said to Dan, "You're the best lover I ever had." And he said, "Yeah, me too, you." And he knew it was because of the quality of information we've been sharing since we got naked. And the Aftergame shows and telling the truth. And one time he said, "Time out." Like, what?
In the moment.
Time out.
Feedback in the moment.
How's this going for you?
Yeah.
Fine. How's it going for you? Fine. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
And my mind was blown because, like, I don't know, I've been imprinted, like, once you get going, don't be interrupted for anything. Like, don't say ouch. Don't kill the mood. Don't do anything that might hurt the fragile penis. You know, don't give them blue balls. Don't cause them to lose a heart on ever. And time out.
Yeah.
And let's check in. This is something new. Time out. Let's check in. How's this going for you?
That's awesome.
Yeah. How delightful to have someone ask you.
Yes.
How things are going.
How's this
All right.
going
So
for you?
kind of sum this all up. What is one piece of advice that men can do? And what's one piece of advice that women can do to be in better romantic relationship?
Well, already one of them is playgrounds instead of interrogations.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you want me to know about you?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That's actually a question. They get to go through the gate and look around. Yeah, I want you to know about this. And instead of feeling like we have to get filled on every friggin' thing or we're being left out, they don't want to talk about their day until they do. And yeah, is there anything you want me to know about you? And the vice versa. There's some things I really want you to know about me and a couple I need you to know about me. When would be a good time for that? And then don't underestimate in order to get the time sooner. Say, I probably have a half hour worth of things to tell you. And that's before you even ask me any clarifying questions. When could we do that? And it might be, this is Monday. I could do that on Saturday, which is why we lie, right? Because we want it to happen sooner because we're so full. Well, first with a friend, empty my basket and it'll help me get clear about what I'm going to tell him on Saturday. And you can even do that. Okay, between now and then, I'm going to get as much out of it as I need to. So I'm just left with what I really need you to know. You know what they say to that? Thank you.
Right.
That's respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those favorite questions are really important. And another one is like we teach in the Queen's Code, share all the things that make a great sexual partnership. Chapter 5. Don't go straight to chapter 5, everybody, because otherwise you'll have a bad attitude. But chapter 5, it's called Pumpkin Hours to Desserts. And it's a sexual partnership, a delicious sexual partnership from beginning to end. All those things are, but especially, well, there's no but especially. They all matter. And jump starts matter. And pumpkin hours matter because if you jump start somebody when they're in their pumpkin hours, when their coach is turned into a pumpkin, male or female, and they can't give anybody a ride, it's mean to jumpstart them and have them want to have sex. Then they want to have sex. They're horny and pissed. Don't make someone horny and pissed. Right. Timing is really important. But if they'll reveal to you their jumpstarts, this is how to have the engine, the battery Jump to
Going.
life, go to 0 to 60. This is the thing to say. This is the way to touch me. This is the place to touch me.
Mm-hmm.
I also would say, and I believe in this, and Dan and I do this, and Greg and I did this, even unconsciously. Don't let the fire get cold.
Yeah.
Don't let it be
I
a
think that's
fireplace
really
that
important.
hasn't had heat for years. Do you know?
Years.
Keep
Yeah.
the embers warm.
Yeah.
Even just a little rub on the bum when they go by.
Yeah.
When they rub you on the bum. Yeah, if you keep the embers warm,
Yeah.
the ordeal of foreplay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Alison, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Always
such
a
a pleasure.
delight. We already can't wait to have you back. And enjoy what is left of this summer.
I will. In 4 weeks, I should be moved out of both of the houses I'm moving out of, and should
Yeah,
be
and holding a baby in hopefully 6 of those weeks.
exactly 6 would be great. Just
That's
hold
a
on
lot
little
of
longer.
transformation in a short time. So
Yes.
take
Yeah,
good care of
good
your
luck with that.
adrenals.
Thank
Make sure you get lots of sex
And lots of sleep.
and lots of sleep.
Well, yeah. But the best part is moving with me.
Yay!
Oh, wow,
That is the best
cool.
part.
Yes.
All right.
Alison, how can people find you on social media?
Let's see. Social media is the Alison Armstrong, a joke my daughter paid on me. YouTube is way better for learning, although there's a jillion shorts and clips and reels and stuff on Spotify and
There's a jillion shorts on YouTube too. They keep popping up in my feed. I watch them all the time.
yes.
And what's the name of your YouTube channel?
Say that again.
YouTube
Alison Armstrong videos.
Okay.
But I would recommend, if someone wants to get down to the heart of why it's broken between men and women, put in Alison Armstrong Sacred Sons. There'll be an interview with Adam Jackson, and you can tell because you'll see his face. And the other's actually the recording of the workshop that I led for them. And
Cool.
And you can watch the workshop. And
Great.
I'm gonna watch it.
yeah, the only thing is you can't see their faces. They were kept confidential.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wish people could, because they were laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
All right. And everyone, that's Alison with one L.
That's right.
Although
Okay.
you can spell it with 2 L's, and they usually find me
It'll
too.
still pop up.
It's
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks again,
Thank you
Alison.
so much, Allison. We love
Yeah.
you so much.
I love
Yeah,
you too, and thanks for holding this space.
so fun.
That's our pleasure. Yeah.
Sex matters.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Really does.
I plan on being really, really old, still having the best sex of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Maybe
is one of the
we
things that I
continue.
always say. Always have the best sex of your life in your present and your future.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great words of wisdom to close on.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Much love.
Bye.
Everyone, don't go away. The show's not over. The dish is coming up next.
Now, our favorite part, the dish.
All right. Alison
3.0, Alison Armstrong. That was a lot.
A lot of different pieces, a lot of different
of
points.
different pieces. Oh my God, this piece around asking questions, interrogation. I could see a lot of her good points. And there's another part of me that's like, oh my God, having to ask permission to engage in curiosity. That's a lot. I don't know.
I think it's about reading who you're with, right? It's attunement to who you're with. Some people you won't need to preempt that question, and others you will, so it's just obviously coming back again to who you're with and what the scene is and what the setting is and what the tone is and where you're at. I thought what was interesting though was the death piece, that men always have death in in their field, that they're always thinking about that? Like, is it worth dying for? I mean, it was an interesting note. I mean, we'd have to start asking
Matt about that.
some men in our lives about that question, because
what's your relationship to death as a presence in your awareness?
I mean, I know that if I asked like my dad and my brothers, they probably both would have that awareness because they have kids. So I think if you do have children, there's this other element of like, now you're living for them. You know, a lot of clients, a lot of men in my realm who have kids, there's the kids are what they're living for, you know? So.
Well, I do feel a real sense that Matt is living to make sure I'm okay. You know,
for sure. Yeah, he would be happy to go otherwise if you weren't in his life, I'm sure.
Like, there's another part of Charles that when we're talking about his health and his death and how close he came to having terminal cancer, you know, the way those conversations happened and the things that were said and the things he didn't tell me, I know were to protect me, and being concerned with my okayness. How long would I not be okay in experiencing grief to that level? And I think Matt's very sort of obsessed with his health and keeps on top of his health way more than I do. And
he's also 10 years older than you. So,
and he's 10 years older than me. Yeah. So I think I can see that there would be an awareness of needing to stay alive to make sure that I'm okay.
Yeah.
But Matt also is like, I don't want to live till past 85. I don't think I'm going to live that long. And I'm like, 85 is nothing, dude. What are you even talking about? Like, your dad's almost 80 and he looks amazing and his health is perfect. And you can't predict that Matt's health is going to be the same. He's got one side of the family's got great genetics. The other side of the family has shit genetics. So who knows? But in any event, he always says that and it always bothers me. Like, why are you acting like that's an impossibility? And why would you want to or not want to die before that age? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It does annoy me when he acts like he wants to die or is going to die earlier than what I think is reasonable.
Well, there is a death conversation between you, I think, in your horizon.
How dare you think you're going to die before I'm ready?
Well, it's the same thing with Christy and Charles. You know, he's always talking about it so publicly and openly. And she's like, well, you stop doing that. You know? Like, well, I mean, we are going to die. Generally, we do end up with men who are bigger, taller, have bigger hearts, like physically bigger, that like a bigger dog, are generally likely to die sooner. You know, it's just they're pumping more blood and more energy through their vessels, and they're just contending with more. And you know, and then we look at genetics and all the things. But I just think, you know, back to her point of like what she's discovered, you know, in her research of like that this is one of the huge like discrepancies between men and women. I mean, I feel like moms too. Anytime you have a kid, moms are probably thinking about, you know, when they die and what they're going to give to their kids and how they're going to leave their kids, all that kind of stuff. And
but culturally too, we're like, when someone dies before their kids are raised, it's like the biggest tragedy anyone would not have a primary parent as they're young and their brains are forming. And, you know, you think about all the landmarks of like getting married and graduating high school, your period. Like, there's all these things. It feels like a tragedy if there's a parent that's not there for those milestones when you're young. But I don't know. I didn't fully connect to that part of the process. I'll have to really sit with it and test it out. You know, I was also sort of surprised to hear this, like, after sex. I don't know. Like, when I have
the post game,
that's satisfying almost every time. I am so filled with joy and ecstasy that there's a part of me that, in order to process the experience, has to verbalize, this corner and this thing and this thing and this thing, and that was so big for me. And like, it just rolls out of me as just an ever delicious reliving of the experience. And I am not going to stifle that for anybody. And I don't think that's disrespectful, but I'm going to test it. I'll ask if it's okay because it's worth doing the research over. But
Yeah,
I
it's worth
I
testing.
am radiant at that moment, and it would be a sin to withhold it. Personally. I also like relive a really high point of deliciousness, but maybe that feels overwhelming to someone's system.
Well, again, it depends on who you're with and the tone and the scene and the setting and how open they are and all
I
of
don't
those
know.
things.
I'm
And I
highly
think it does.
suspicious
I
of
think
it.
it's about attunement to the moment more than asking permission personally.
But I also think it's like be expressed. And if you have a hard time with someone's radiant expression, get your head checked. I mean, I don't think that's a me problem. I think that's a you problem. And maybe that's disrespectful, but I don't know. I kind of feel very suspicious of that.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I think here's what I would say is like there's if there has been some amazing sexual encounter and the man has had an ejaculatory orgasm, he just might not be as available for your radiance as he
And
would
I
be.
guess maybe this is very selfish of me. It's not for him anyways. It's for me to relive and for him to delight in. And if he doesn't have the bandwidth to let that sink in, blessed be, to hang out on the pillow, close your eyes. I don't need you to like hang on every word. It's for me to digest. It's for me to get to that place of rest and digest. I wouldn't want somebody to stifle that. Like that would not be a good fit for me as someone. Like I'm not going to get much more from me. You don't have to comment. You don't even have to be present for it 100%, but don't stop me.
Yeah. I guess that also just like points to like, what's the purpose? And if the purpose is for you to have your moment of integration with it all, then God bless. Have that moment.
Processor. So, if you can't hang with a verbal processor, you're not my guy.
Totally. Yeah.
And thankfully I got one. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways. Love you long time.
Love you too. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. This episode was hosted by Tantric Sex Master Coach and Positive Psychology Facilitator Leah Piper, as well as by Chinese and Functional Medicine Doctor and Taoist Sexology Teacher Dr. Willow Brown. Don't forget, your comments, likes, subscribes, and suggestions matter. Let's realize this new world together.